In a world ruled by deception, one man vows to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. You think you can hide from me? For Detective Marlow, the hunt is personal. This city has no room for secrets. Why are you doing this? Because I know the truth, but as the walls close in, the hunter becomes the hunted. How far will I go to destroy myself? This January, truth has a price. The city never slept, but neither did Marlow. Seated at his desk, illuminated by the pale glow of his desk lamp, he sifted through his gathered notes and blurry photographs. The enigmatic figure's warning still echoed in his mind, but he dismissed it as an attempt to shake his resolve. If anything, the encounter only fueled his determination. His moral compass, however skewed by obsession, pointed unwaveringly toward what he believed was his duty. The smell of stale coffee lingered in the air as Marlow traced connections on his corkboard. Strings of red yarn crisscrossed between images of suspects, locations, and cryptic notes he'd gathered over weeks. In the center of it all was a sketch, a simple yet unnerving symbol he'd come across during his investigations. An angular triangle enclosed by a circle etched onto a small card slipped under his door earlier that evening. The message attached was short but tantalizing. Find the truth, if you dare. Marlow stared at the symbol, his brow furrowed. The card had no fingerprints, no distinguishing marks. Someone wanted him to continue, or perhaps they wanted him to walk into a trap. Either way, he wasn't turning back now. Hours passed, the city outside transitioning from the hum of late-night traffic to the quiet stillness of early dawn. Marlow's focus remained fixed on the symbol. It stirred something deep within him. Marlow's investigation led him to an old library, tucked away in a forgotten corner of the city. The air inside was thick with the scent of aged paper and mildew. Shelves loomed high, casting elongated shadows that danced with the flicker of a single overhead light. It was the kind of place where secrets felt at home. The librarian, a frail woman with glasses perched precariously on her nose, eyed Marlow warily as he approached. "I'm looking for information on symbology," he said, showing her the sketch of the triangle and circle. Her eyes widened momentarily before she regained her composure. "Follow me," she said curtly, her voice betraying a hint of unease. She led him to a section near the back, where books coated in decades of dust sat untouched. "This symbol, it's not modern," she whispered, her fingers tracing the spine of a thick leather-bound volume. "It's old, tied to secret societies. People who used symbols like this didn't want to be found." Marlow leaned in as she opened the book, revealing an illustration eerily similar to the sketch. Beneath it were words in Latin, which she translated haltingly. "The seekers of truth will uncover despair." A chill ran down Marlow's spine. "What does that mean?" he asked. The librarian shook her head. "It's just a warning, detective. But sometimes warnings are worth heeding." He pressed her for more information, but she remained tight-lipped, her eyes darting nervously toward the entrance as if expecting someone to burst through at any moment. Marlow left the library with the book tucked under his arm, his mind buzzing with questions and a gnawing sense of unease. The coded message on the card wasn't just a taunt. It was a puzzle. Marlow spent hours poring over it, his mind racing as he deciphered the pattern hidden within the cryptic etchings. Each line, each curve, seemed to carry significance. Finally, after a sleepless night, he cracked the code. It pointed to an address, a place buried deep in the city's underbelly. The address led to a disused factory. Its broken windows and rusted doors stood as a testament to years of neglect. Marlow felt a prickle of unease as he approached, his hand instinctively resting on his holster. Inside, the air was damp and heavy with the smell of decay. The floor was littered with debris, and graffiti marked the walls. But what caught his attention was a small makeshift altar at the center of the room. Atop it lay another card with the same symbol, along with a single candle flickering weakly against the darkness. Marlow approached cautiously, his eyes scanning every corner of the room. The candlelight cast strange shadows, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The new card bore another message. Truth awaits, but so does the cost. His pulse quickened as he pocketed the card. The air around him seemed to grow heavier, pressing against his chest like an invisible weight. He felt an inexplicable urge to leave, but his feet remained rooted to the spot. For a moment, he considered lighting the candle again, but the thought of what might be revealed in its flickering glow made his blood run cold. Marlow pocketed the card and turned to leave, his every nerve on edge. As he stepped toward the door, the faintest sound reached his ears, a soft rustling, like fabric brushing against the concrete floor. He froze, his hand hovering near his weapon. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice echoing in the empty space. Silence greeted him, oppressive and unnerving. The rustling came again, this time closer. Marlow spun, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. But there was nothing there. Sweat beaded on his forehead as the air seemed to grow colder. The sound of footsteps, slow, deliberate, echoed from somewhere behind him. Marlow's heart pounded as he turned again, his flashlight trembling slightly in his grip. "Show yourself," he demanded, his voice faltering slightly. The footsteps stopped abruptly, leaving him in a silence that was almost deafening. Then, from the shadows, a voice whispered, low and chilling. "You were warned, detective. You should have listened." Marlow swung his flashlight toward the sound, but the beam revealed only emptiness. The voice seemed to come from nowhere, and everywhere all at once, wrapping around him like a sinister embrace. Panic flared in his chest as the oppressive darkness pressed in, suffocating and relentless. He stumbled backward, his breaths coming in short, ragged gasps. As he reached the door, he glanced back one last time, his flashlight casting long, jagged shadows across the room. For a brief moment, he thought he saw a figure standing by the altar, watching him with eyes that glinted in the faint candlelight. And then, the candle went out, plunging the room into an all-consuming darkness that seemed to pulse with an ominous life of its own. Marlow's breath caught in his throat, as a cold, invisible hand seemed to grip his spine. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was heavy, vibrating with the faintest whispers, like voices murmuring from an unreachable void. Somewhere, deep within the shadows, something stirred, an unseen presence drawing closer, each moment stretching into eternity. Want to know what happens next? I won't spoil it for you here. You can dive into the full story in this amazing ebook. It's packed with twists, suspense, and a conclusion that will blow your mind. The full story is waiting for you. Just click the link pinned in the comments section and grab your copy. You'll be glad you did. So, what are you waiting for? Unlock the full adventure now, and let me know what you think of the ending. It's unforgettable, and that's where this episode ends. But trust me, the story is just getting started. In the next part, things take an unexpected turn and secrets you never saw coming will be revealed. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you're the first to catch the next episode. And if you're as hooked as I am, let me know your thoughts in the comments below.